Now, as I'm speaking now, we currently do sit in second place, and obviously that's not a good feeling. We want to be in first place. We've proved it in the summer that we are obviously the #1 top dog in the CONCACAF. Right now, at the moment, obviously Mexico is in front of us, but if we handle business in the November window, because we are taking them on, like I mentioned, we could definitely be ahead of them when it's all said and done. But the way I see it, it doesn't feel good, but I look at it like this a little bit. We're coming into this window. Technically, we have 1 foot into the World Cup already. I mean, we're halfway through the World Cup qualifiers and we're sitting in second place, right? We also have that chance to potentially come in here and beat Mexico and Cincinnati and take control of that #1 spot, #1 seed in the World Cup qualifier standing. Those are just some optimistic thoughts and points and facts that I've kind of been leaning on, obviously, especially when I sit down and I try to think of what type of roster Berhalter is going to bring into the November window. Obviously, I stress about that and I just lean on that. I'm like, okay, we're in second place. We just got to find a way to, garner some more points and hold on tight. Because obviously, guys, you know what the deal is with Berhalter. We don't know what we're getting. I just don't know. I don't know what to expect from the guy. But like I mentioned, the guy just hits us with these Easter eggs all the time. It seems like he's trolling us at times. With that being said, today we're going to be talking about the roster, guys. Today we're going to be potentially putting together what I think the roster should look like, tell you what I think he should be calling up, the type of prospects he should be bringing in that could potentially help him win these games or garner the most points possible. This November window is going to be looking a little bit different than that of the September and October window, guys. We're taking on 2 opponents, only not 3. We're taking on Mexico on November the 12th in Cincinnati, and we're taking on Jamaica in Kingston on November the 16th, okay? That's if I'm not mistaken. I think my times are correct. Yes, they are correct. It's a positive and negative for me, to be honest. Negative, I mean, we don't get that extra match to break down film on the USMNT, break down film on their prospects, on their game plan, and on Berhalter's schemes. And positive, well, you instead of playing that extra game, that time where you could have been playing that extra game, you could use it as time to rest, as time to game plan, as time to scheme against your opponent, and just basically relax. Not that Berhalter schemes or game plans against any opponent, because obviously most of the time he relies on his talent to win the games for him, right? But that aside, it's something positive you could look at, right? I want 3 games, though. Don't get me wrong. I love 3 games a month. Now, with that being said, because I'm pretty sure I talked your guys' ear off, let's get into the roster. Let's talk about the players, my selections, who I think Berhalter should be taking, bringing, calling up for this November window. Let's start off by talking about the goalkeeper position first. The first 2 goalkeepers for me are locks, Stefan and Turner. And I'm going to go as far as saying that Turner is going to start against Jamaica and Stefan is going to start against Mexico. They're going to split a game each. That's what I'm predicting. Now, the question that's left is who's going to be that 3rd goalkeeper for Triple G here? Is it going to be Sean Johnson again? Is it going to be Ethan Horvath this time? Or is it going to be a newcomer, maybe a 17-year-old goalkeeper prodigy that plays his ball for Chicago Fire, Gaga Gabriel Slonina, who just became the youngest goalkeeper to make his debut for a MLS team at the young age of 17? Is it going to be him? To be honest, it doesn't really matter. I mean, let's look at the facts here. In the September window, we had 3 matches. The October window, we had 3 matches. Guess how many minutes the 3rd-string goalkeeper played for Berhalter in any of those 6 matches total? 0. 0 minutes, nilch nada. So in my opinion, it's not going to matter. I mean, it most likely will be between Sean Johnson and Ethan Horvath. It could potentially be Slonina here, but I think Slonina, who in my opinion is a very hot commodity, currently playing for Chicago Fire and looking great. I mean, looks like he's the next big thing for us at goalkeeper, right? He's probably going to take part of that Revelations Cup. They're coming up with the new Revelations Cup, and it's kicking off this month, I believe, U20 prospects. So he'll most likely be called up for that. Eventually, I think it is going to be Horvath over Sean Johnson. Sean Johnson was called in for the October window, but that had to do with, obviously, Horvath playing in England and Panama being a red-listed country, and obviously Berhalter didn't want to deal with that situation, so he called in Sean Johnson. So I want to see Ethan Horvath in there as well. I wouldn't mind that at all. So the goalkeepers for me is going to be Zach Steffen, Matt Turner, and Ethan Horvath. For the center back position, I'm bringing 4 center backs, guys. I'm not bringing 5. We're only playing 2 matches. I don't think we need that extra 5th center back, to be honest. I'm bringing in Brooks, Richards, Robinson, and Miazga. I did look at 4 other center backs, did take them into consideration, but barely missed a cut. For example, one of them is Mark McKenzie. He's been a player that's been getting called up time after time by Berhalter. As a matter of fact, at one point, I even thought that Mark McKenzie was going to be slotted in as center back 2 opposite of John Brooks, was going to be John Brooks' partner in crime. Now, John Brooks isn't even center back 1. It's Miles Robinson, in my opinion. So yeah, goes to show how things change in a matter of weeks, months. Walker Zimmerman was another center back I looked at. People say he's one of the best center backs in the MLS. In my opinion, I could care less if the guy plays in the MLS or if he's one of the best center backs in the MLS. I've seen what he offers. I've seen what he brings. Nothing exciting, nothing spectacular. In my opinion, just another big center back. Tim Ream, well, we're not going to need a babysitter for Gio Reyna since, in my opinion, he's probably not going to be here. Therefore, we're not going to need Tim Ream's babysitter services, so we're not going to call him. And I did look at Cameron Carter-Vickers, who's been making some waves, has been making some noise over there in the Scottish League, playing for Celtic, I believe, has 2 goals in 8 appearances. So yeah, the guy can do the dirty work and score some goals if you need him to, I guess. I did take him into consideration. He is 23 years old. I think I'm going to wait off on him a little bit, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from him so far. If you were to ask me, Miles Robinson is our center back 1. John Brooks is probably center back 2 in my opinion, but Robinson, on the other hand, has been our most consistent, our most reliable, our most durable center back up to date. Has played 5 out of 6 games in these World Cup qualifiers and has previously played back-to-back matches as well. He is the reason, Miles Robinson is the reason why I feel comfortable only bringing 4 center backs into this World Cup qualifier window of November, because I know how durable and how resilient this kid is. And on the other hand, we have John Brooks, but let's be honest about John Brooks. He's a liability lately. Has no speed. Seems like injuries are catching up, but just still, I mean, we need this guy. At this point right now, currently, we still need this guy. Why? Because he's a bridge. He's a bridge between now and Chris Richards. Eventually, I think Chris Richards is going to come in and just take over. Be that center back 2, center back 1, right? But for now, it's John Brooks because he has that veteran presence, in my opinion. Chris Richards was one of those prospects that I was really excited about him getting some minutes, getting finally called up in the October window. And I definitely think it's going to be the same thing here in the November window. He's definitely probably going to be called up. That's what I think. I want to see him get some minutes, maybe against Jamaica. Maybe he teams up with a Miles Robinson or a John Brooks and he gets some minutes. But I really like seeing him being incorporated. I like the fact that he's in camp. You guys obviously know that Chris Richards is probably our most gifted center back, so getting him involved now is very crucial for his development. The last center back I'm bringing in is Matt Miazga. In my opinion, Matt Miazga was supposed to be our center back 2 or center back a long time ago, way before John Brooks, actually around the time of John Brooks, but way before Miles Robinson, Chris Richards, and any of them. He was supposed to be that partner in crime with John Brooks, but it didn't pan out. The guy went to Chelsea, went on a bunch of loan spells, and then fell off a little bit. Now he's playing for Alaves. It looks like he's making an impact there, so why not bring him into the mix? Why not bring him back, right? And I think this is a perfect time. I'm taking Matt Miazga. Let's talk about the fullbacks real quick. I'm bringing 5 of them, and the reason is because in the past 2 World Cup qualifier windows of October and September, Greg has brought 5 in each. So yeah, I'm bringing 5, I guess. Let's start off by talking about Serginho Dest. In my opinion, he's a world-class right back. He's a lock for us. I don't know why the kid gets a lot of hate. Definitely gets a lot of hate from El Tri fans. They bash on him, say how he sucks, how his skill's not there, how he's not this, he's not that. Bro, he ain't perfect. Guys, he ain't perfect. But the kid is world-class. I mean, look at the impact he's having for Barcelona. At right back, at right wing back, at right wing, for crying out loud. That goes to show that the kid's ability, his technical ability, is above anybody else's if Ronald Koeman has to plug him in at the right wing position. Goes to show that the kid is damn talented. So if you're hating on Serginho Dest, check the facts out, buddy. Proof is in the pudding. Read it and weep it, then come to me. But yeah, there's a lot of people hating. Now, with that being said, Serginho Dest is amazing, and he's a lock, like I said. At the left back position, it's obviously going to be Anthony Robinson. He's a lock for me too. 18-year-old Joe Scully is one of those players that I've been saying Berhalter should have called in last month. In my opinion, needs to call him in this month. If he doesn't, we riot. If Joe Scully doesn't get called in by Berhalter in this November window, we riot. But all joking aside, I mean, the kid is a stud. The kid plays his best when he goes up against the best competition, and that's Bayern Munich. I mean, look what he's done against Bayern. He's basically their kryptonite. Aside from showing up when it matters the most, the kid already has 1,050 minutes for Borussia Mönchengladbach this season in all competitions. He's played 90 minutes in 10 out of the last 12 matches, guys, and has done so playing that left back, right back, and right mid position. So it goes to show that the Borussia Mönchengladbach head coach is finding ways to incorporate Joe Scully into the game plan, finding ways to throw him out there to impact his team, the game, in a positive way, and he's done so, in my opinion. And that's what Berhalter needs to do. It's about damn time Berhalter calls him in. I think he's ready. I think this 18-year-old is ready. In my opinion, Joe Scully is made for the CONCACAF, man. The guy is able to dish out punishment, is able to handle punishment. His physicality, I mean, he's fast, he's aggressive, able to dispossess players, able to transition into offense. This is what we want. This guy's an overall stud. Call him in. DeAndre Yedlin, well, he's been there, done that, so we need that. We need that expertise. We need some of that veterancy, and he has it. So let's bring him in. And for my final fullback, I'm bringing in George Bello. George Bello's been there in the previous World Cup qualifiers of September and October. I think he'll be here. And Bello could definitely be a nice depth player. I mean, God forbid a Serginho Dest can't finish off the window, because let's be honest, in the previous 2 World Cup qualifier windows, he had to leave with injuries. So we were left empty-handed or short-handed at the fullback position. That's why I think a George Bello might come in here and fit in nicely, regardless if he doesn't play or he's just depth. But why not? You know, the more the merrier. I believe Tyler Adams is our new captain now, and hey, I'm not against that, man. The guy has been a defensive juggernaut for us for a while now. Has been there, done that, resilient, tough, rugged, always there. It's very surprising that he's been so healthy. I mean, the way he plays the ball, he's very physical, likes to get in people's faces, likes to go in there and tackle, put his body, use his body, all that stuff. Basically throws his body in the line. Like I mentioned, a defensive juggernaut. Love it. Weston McKennie has been in form for Juventus recently. As a matter of fact, has had goals in back-to-back games for the Bianconeri and Maxi Allegri. And that's something positive, right? That's something that Maxi Allegri wanted from Weston McKennie. Obviously, at the beginning of the season, he wanted him to create chances for teammates and himself. And he's doing that for himself, and he's putting them away in the net, guys. That's something good and positive we should definitely look at. Obviously, that's going to carry over for us. That's some momentum for us at the midfield because McKennie's a big piece of our midfield as well. He makes up that MMA midfield, Musa, McKennie, and Adams. And if McKennie's playing great, then obviously that's going to benefit us when we take on Mexico. So that's some good stuff. Gianluca Busio was one of those players I was really excited about when he was called up for the October window. I'm definitely expecting him to be here for the November window, especially with the way he's developing. I mean, that move to Venezia has definitely impacted his development in a positive way. I mean, his trajectory is like this now. Back then, you know, obviously we knew he was solid. You know, we knew what type of ceiling he had, but now he's coming into his own. He's developing and he looks great. Now, with that being said, though, I want to talk about a fun fact here, guys. Some of you probably don't even know, but this is something we need to be paying attention to, obviously, right? If we track, if we keep, you know, tabs on the USMNT players and whatnot. But check this out. Now, out of Busio, McKennie, Adams, and Musa, guess who has the most minutes currently played for his club? If you guessed Adams, you're wrong. If you guessed McKennie, you're wrong. And if you guessed Musa, you're definitely wrong. It's Gianluca Busio. Gianluca Busio has played 837 minutes for Venezia in all competitions. In second place comes Adams with 711 minutes in all competitions. McKennie comes in third with 636 minutes. And Yunus Musa comes in with 340 minutes. And just to throw it out there as well, Luca De La Torre has 863 minutes. So actually, technically, Luca De La Torre plays more minutes than any other midfield in our team. Just think about it, guys. This 19-year-old kid that doesn't even sniff the starting 11 for the USMNT gets way more minutes with his current club. Granted, I understand it depends if they have the depth to obviously compete against them. And if they don't, then obviously they get the nod here and there, whatever, right? But still, if you're getting 837 minutes of playing time in Serie A, you're definitely doing something right. And it just goes to show that we're definitely very talented in the midfield. Luca De La Torre, the same thing as Gianluca Busio, did not see much of him in the previous World Cup qualifier window. I do want to see more of him. I want to see what he could do offensively going forward. And lastly, Callan Acosta, he's proven time after time that he could definitely be a serviceable backup to Tyler Adams, or could maybe be a serviceable starter. The last start he did get was against Panama. He did not look good. Hopefully we don't need him, but if we need to throw him in there, you know, we'll throw Pereira in there with him, and hopefully he can hold it down. But aside from that, Callan Acosta, he's light years ahead of any other midfield in the MLS, at least right now in what we need. That veteran presence, right, in the World Cup qualifiers. Wingers, I'm bringing a lot of firepower. I'm bringing 5 of them. I got Aronson, Weah, Conrad, Christian Pulisic, and Gioacchini. Brandon Aronson, just like Weston McKennie, has been a USMNT player that has been in form abroad for their club. As a matter of fact, this kid has notched 2 assists in back-to-back games recently. Has played 6 90-minute games in the last 8 matches for RB Salzburg. That aside, Brandon Aronson has been a spark plug for us at the USMNT level as well. I mean, think about it. With the absence of Gio Reyna recently, Christian Pulisic in the previous World Cup qualifier window, we needed a winger to step up. We needed a winger to take the bulk of the load. And who was that? Brandon Aronson. His energy, his relentlessness, his effort to win balls, to go create chances for himself and teammates is second to none. This guy he's a spark plug in my opinion. And that's something that we definitely need right now when we're lacking players like Christian Pulisic and Gio Reyna. And Brandon Aronson isn't the biggest guy either. His body frame is pretty small, but can find a way to just take that CONCACAF, you know, punishment and bruises and bumps and all that stuff. I don't know. Just a little bit different. Maybe Christian Pulisic and Gio Reyna should maybe pay attention to what Brandon Aronson's eating or something. I don't know. Tim Weah, man, I want this guy just based on speed and technical ability, because I know that if we're potentially down 1-0, God forbid, we could throw Tim Weah out there as center forward, throw him some Hail Marys. He'll eventually come down with 1 or 2 and potentially create a chance for himself or a teammate. we know that he's that explosive, right? Obviously, his final touch in the final third is still a little bit off. He's still trying to clean that up. But overall, the guy has the speed. And with speed kills, baby. You can't train speed. You got it or you don't. And Tim Weah has it, so that's why he's here. When the October roster dropped last month, there was a lot of snubs, in my opinion. Plenty of snubs to talk about. One of the ones that stood out like a sore thumb for me was obviously that of Conrad de la Fuente, who got left off in favor of Paulo Arriola, who in my opinion has had his chances, opportunities, and just the guy can't take full advantage of it. But still finds a way to find himself in the mix for the USMNT, and that's all thanks to Berhalter, right? Now, in my opinion, it's time to turn the page. Paulo Arriola, he's had a good run, but it's time to leave him in the past. It's time to turn to new blood, and that's Conrad de la Fuente. This kid could do everything that Paulo Arriola does and more, and is a little bit better in the final third. As a matter of fact, is way better in the final third. What the hell am I saying? Paulo Arriola is non-existent in the final third. This kid is existent. This kid is able to create chances for himself, for his teammates, whether that's him taking on one defender or two defenders and beating them. I want to see this kid in this roster. I don't want to see Paulo Arriola anymore. I don't want to see these guys that give effort, and at the end of the day, there's a big fat zero on their damn stat card. I want to see that guy that's going to go out there and change the game. The way I see it, this game is about numbers. If you're drawing two defenders to one player, then you have the advantage somewhere else on the field, right? And that's what this player does for you. He draws that extra player at times. Paulo Arriola doesn't. And as a matter of fact, let me just show you an example. Let me give you an example of why I'm so excited about incorporating Conrad into the USMNT now. We're obviously taking on Mexico. Let's say Christian Pulisic can't go, or he's not even called up, right? So Tim Weah gets the nod at the left wing. Conrad obviously plays left wing too. So let's say Tim Weah gets the nod. He's going to face Chaka because Chaka Rodriguez plays that right back position for Mexico. So obviously they're facing each other for 70 minutes, 75 minutes. Weah is just tiring out Chaka, running, vertical runs, right? We take off Weah in the 70th minute. We bring in Conrad, a different style of player, which can beat you with speed, but can also beat you with a technical ability. 1v1, baby. He likes to take you out to dance, and he's gonna mop the floor with you at times. So can you imagine that relentlessness that Chaka's gonna be dealing with if that was the case? That's what gets me excited about it. You know, the fact that we have players that can impact the game off the get-go, but then the fact that we have players that can definitely come in as subs and just continue to pour it on the opponent. It's exciting, man. And that's just why I'm excited. That's why I'm saying that I prefer Conrad over a player that runs a lot like Paulo Arriola, who in my opinion doesn't know what to do with the ball when he receives it. But that aside, let's move forward. Giacchini is one of those players that I want to see incorporated a little bit more. He's fast, he's aggressive. Not sure exactly what we have in him yet, but the kid could play left wing and can play center forward if we need him to. So that's pretty damn good. Aside from that, he's an aerial threat. Could definitely help us in the set pieces. And like I mentioned, just likes to get forward. It seems that Christian Pulisic will be taking action today for Chelsea when they take on Malmo for the Champions League in the Champions League. So it seems like they're working him back. I know a lot of people might say we should let him stay at Chelsea, let him get 100% healthy, regain form, all that stuff, come back better than ever. But it seems like something's okay, right? Granted, I understand, not sure exactly what his workload's going to look like, but regardless, maybe Berhalter could call him in, you know, give him a certain workload. Maybe bring him in, play him against Jamaica for 60 minutes, 50 minutes, knock some rust off, right? Get him incorporated. The guy's already missed a window. We need to get him involved, whether that's giving him a couple minutes or maybe giving him a start and then taking him out or bringing him off the bench. But we need to knock some rust off. And like I mentioned, Gio Reyna's out for his second consecutive World Cup qualifier window with his hamstring injury. And lastly, let's talk about the striker position. I'm bringing in Ricardo Pepi and Daryl Dike. The reason I'm bringing 3 strikers in is because, like I mentioned previously, when I was talking about the wingers, that Nico Giacchini can play that winger position and also that center forward position. God forbid we lose a striker with an injury. We could plug in Giacchini as a backup. That's perfect. That's the reason why I brought Giacchini in, and that's the reason why I'm bringing 2 strikers. Do I need to introduce Ricardo Pepi? I don't think I do. I mean, the guy's pretty damn self-introducible. The guy's our bell cow. Going forward, our number 9, our lead striker now and in the future. And he's definitely, in my opinion, he should definitely start against Mexico. Can you imagine if he scored against Mexico? Because obviously, I mean, he had the opportunity to pick them or us, and he chose us. So if he could somehow find a way to get that winning goal against Mexico, cherry on top. But Ricardo Pepi is my bell cow, man, at that 9th position. And lastly, depending on how you look at this player, I mean, you can look at it with controversy, okay? Let's close, as a matter of fact, let's close off this roster of November with some controversy here. Controversy backed up with facts, guys, okay? Look, I'm a firm believer that you need to ride the hot hand, right? Regardless of the position. But that holds a lot of water, at least at the striker position. Because if the striker's hot, he's scoring goals. And how do you win games? I'm sorry, by scoring goals, right? Remember in the first World Cup qualifier window of September, I said that we were lacking creativity, we were lacking goals. We didn't have that. At least not the goal aspect, right? We had Sargent in there a couple games, didn't do shit. We bring in Pepe though. I mean, he was scoring goals in the MLS. He was odd hand. I said it. Bring in Pepe. Let's see what this kid could do. We bring him in against Honduras. He switches the game, earns us 3 points in the October window. Comes back, scores more goals. So the kid was odd hand at the moment. We wrote him. He still is, in my opinion, and we saw the result, right? The same goes for Daryl DK, guys. Daryl DK is doing some damage right now in the MLS, the same league that Ricardo Pepi is doing damage. In the last month, Daryl DK has scored 4 goals for Orlando. And the last 8 matches he started, he scored 6 goals. Okay? So yeah, the guy is odd hand currently. Hot commodity. And I definitely understand we have options like Sargent, options like Hoppy, and options like Zardes. But right now, man, I'm riding the hot hands. And the hot hands right now are Ricardo Pepi and Daryl DK. But with that being said, I was just trying to put together a roster, the best possible roster that could potentially go into Cincinnati, go into Jamaica and handle business, you know, get those 6 points out of 6. Let me know if you guys thought I did a good job. I mean, do you guys think that this roster that I put together could get those 6 out of 6? Yeah or nah? And if you guys would change or could change any players in this roster, let me know in the comment section. If you have your own roster even, submit it in the comment section. We could definitely hash that out. We could talk about that. But with that being said, this is going to be my roster for the November window. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I will be dropping a video breaking down the matchup between the USMNT and Mexico coming up. So stay tuned for that. That's definitely going to be very, very good. Aside from that, guys, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, comment, all that good stuff, man. I ran out of marker, but we are road to 1,500 subs. We are currently sitting at 1,050. Remember, guys, road 1,500 subs, and we are also road to guitar. Let's go.